the whole like face, like I see some of these videos, man, and they are right up in my face, and I'm like, dang, you can see every crevice, every freckle, every pore. It's really how these actresses do it. Well, they got a team of folks to take care of them. I need my beauty squad.
You have a team of folks.
I have you. I don't have a team. Who is my team of folks to fix this?
Okay, that's a team. Me and you.
Me and
Batman,
you.
Robin.
We're a team. I got to do my own makeup.
Starsky and Hutch.
Starsky and Hutch. I got to do my own makeup. He leaves me on my own with that. I'm just saying.
Hi, everybody. This is Unlimited Access, a show by Ursamin. My name is Levi.
Hi, Shannon Aylesworth.
And we haven't done this in a little while.
I was feeling like that. I was like, but then does the audience know that?
No, I meant like we haven't updated the audience on just the status of the company.
Oh, we have not. This topic
the topic
we have not.
So today's topic is a company update. You know, you and I work a lot, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things about working a lot is that we end up kind of like forgetting that most people don't know what we're doing. Right?
We think they do.
Because we see ourselves doing a lot of stuff. We send out a lot of
Yes.
emails, we make presentations, and I make videos, et cetera, et cetera. So we think everybody knows what's going on within the company, but this is a chance for us to kind of just, hey, this is what's going on. So there's a couple of things we want to talk about today is basically the doctor side and the investor side. So you're having a lot of conversations with doctors, and how's that going?
Yeah, it's really good. It's fun. Yeah, we don't do updates often enough. We should be doing them probably monthly. We try and email them, and we hope that you see the changes on the website and in our social media stuff, that you get to see that stuff. But yeah, we're really focused on the doctor side and getting feedback from the doctors and what they want to see from the platform. So we talked about the consumer side. What are we doing for caregivers, patients? Listen, we're caregivers and patients, so that's much easier for us. And then we went and talked to our friends. So getting that information on what's going to be the easiest and most useful things for you. And I think we've talked about in previous discussions, things like a shared calendar were really like a number one thing for caregivers, where with the patients, they're like, just tell me what to do. So what we found is it's all the same features. It's just what's most important to their business. And that a consumer is the CEO of their life, caregiver is the CEO of the household, doctor is the CEO of that relationship and trying to move it forward. So what's most important? And we are not medical doctors, but you've seen us bringing doctors on to say these are the people giving us input on what are the most important features. So they've been really fun. Doctors really want to share and are anxious for another upgrade to the technology approach. Like, how do we make it easier? How do we make it simpler? How do we make it faster? How do we get better patient diagnosis? I was telling somebody yesterday, I said, listen, we were doing a sales presentation. And I said, tell your story. Tell your story. And then I told my story to South Shore Hospital. And I go, they just wanted to hear, how can we get better care for the patients? I know there's VBP and revenue and all these other things. It was like, you could just hear the angst and sometimes the desperation of not having the ability to do more. So the conversations are fantastic. We want more. We're going to push out. We're building a survey, and we're trying to figure out the best way to do it in more volume, because one at a time is great. It's fun and fulfilling for me. But for making a decision, taking that one kind of hypothesis, doctor wants this, and saying, does that exist everywhere, and making sure we get that input is our next push on that.
The conversation that we had on this show with Julie, that was Dr. Shapiro. It was one of those things where you're kind of like, she just wants to care for the patient.
Yeah.
And it seems like all of these systems are almost like preventing her from doing them. And I say systems as big as national healthcare infrastructure, right?
Yeah.
Laws, all the way down to even some simple software. And you feel like a person like her, if you just gave her a pen and a pad and her expertise and just sit down with the patient, she's going to be able to help diagnose and make, a real remedy or some sort of solution. Yeah. And I think that while our software is software, that's kind of in essence what we're really trying to do. Just like, it's like a pen and a pad. She's like, I could just.
It is. I think she even said that. Yeah, she said, I started out when we were writing stuff down, and it was easier. But health has gotten more complicated, and so their ability to go back to the pen and pad is hard, right? Like how fast you can see, and her passion is what I loved about that conversation is her passion is the ER. And you talk to anybody in the ER, that is their passion. They love the triaging, but they can't. They're getting pulled further and further away because this information and the ability to get a quick diagnosis is really hard. So yeah, we're saying, hey, here's a pen and paper. She was one of the first people that actually said, I said, tell me your ideal. She goes, well, am I thinking too big? I go, no, give us the perfect scenario you would want to live with. And she was like, man, if I could get here in a minute and a half, I can get straight to diagnosis because there's this noise that we all add. We talked about that before. So yeah, it's literally just trying to clear the noise out. We can't clear it all, but we can start with how do we stack rank the problems and then solve those one by one.
Right.
And give you hope that we're getting there.
So from a company update standpoint, if I were to go back in time, Shannon observed a problem with her when helping care for her mother.
Yeah.
Comes from the world of software, so she's able to create some sort of software solution. And your expertise in the world, in the health industry, in the medical industry, has been slowly improving. But now we're having these conversations, and the conversations with doctors are both eye-opening and /validating a lot of the things that we've been talking about, which is really good.
Yeah, I think the difference when I say expert, we always joke about that, but the clinical side, I have a good grasp of what's going on with the industry and where things are going because I've been studying it for so long, and I'm kind of nerdy that way. But the clinical side of experience, you can't get. We just can't get. So that's where it's like we're recruiting the people.
You're saying you are not an ER physician.
I am not. I mean, there was a running joke
fair.
that with my mom, I was certified at like a level 4 nurse because I was doing things I never thought I should be doing. That's why I was like, we're going to be doing more and more PICC lines and IVs and things. Those are things that traditionally, but with the shortage, they're going, we gotta empower people to do some of this stuff themselves. That's why we talk about that. So yeah, no, the clinical side, the experience side, that's the knowing what you live with every day and going, what's the best. As a salesperson, I used to say that. Like, you get an operational tool, it's good for operations, but the salespeople we're just tearing our hair out. We're like, I'm never going to use that tool. It just adds noise to a process that's already hard enough. And you'll see it. You'll see companies that don't put a good sales process in place usually fall apart at some point and have to fix it.
Well, that's good. I mean, that's the whole idea is these conversations are just going to make everything better for the patient and for the physicians and stuff like that. A second part of our company update that we wanted to talk about is we are halfway through the fundraise.
Yeah.
I've had some success there. We're getting investors to get involved. And they're seeing a lot of the promise, right? The optimism that you bring to the table. They're kind of seeing that, getting excited. Give us an update on what's going on with the investors.
Yeah, we've been fundraising. I always say you could end up always fundraising because there's times where you can say, could we fund it? Can we do it? Can we bootstrap it is the term for anybody who doesn't understand the fundraising terms. Bootstrapping is you just continue to do your own money and loans. But one of the things investors bring to the table is reach, relationships, advice, things that, in a growth company like ours and especially trying to master an industry that is very complex with government involved and payers and providers and having investors, institutional investors who have lived it. And ours is kind of especially complex, from an entrepreneurial perspective, how do you grow the business? From a healthcare, how do you navigate that? How do you manage the privacy, security, and how do you manage where the government wants to take this because it is such a big industry. So it's been great to see the momentum. We've got a lot of angel investors and then institutional investors that have really glommed on. The more data we get from these doctors, the more exciting the conversation gets. It starts with the passion for helping me solve my problem, but it goes to this problem is ready. It's ready for a solution. And everybody's kind of aligning with, oh yeah, here's how you can do it. So we're getting a lot of ideas back, which early on people were just like, can you get it done? When we started these conversations, we didn't kick off conversations last year. We were just feeling out the market. The investors were like, yeah, we've kind of got other priorities. We don't think the market's ready. Now it's like, oh, we're ready.
Well,
Let's
yeah.
go.
Can we get it done? Number one, our software works. B, they seen the results when we turned on the marketing and the advertising. They see that we're able to drive the traffic. And so
the demand,
it does work. I mean, like with any software solution or any business, of course we want to improve. That's what getting the investors in is going to help us do. It's going to improve both our software side and it's going to help us with the marketing side. But nonetheless it works.
It works. And and the big thing is, are the doctors ready? Again, we are behind. We're following a process of, are the doctors ready to absorb that and push it out because they had internal stuff that they had to work on. And we're really starting to see the doctors put that pressure on now, where last year the doctors were kind of coming down from some other initiatives that they had, and they're like, okay, we're ready to embrace this chronic care management. It's becoming a really big problem. Again, is the problem strong enough for people to take action? So our product has been kind of developing in that stage as well with a good timed release.
There you go. Well, that is a great company update, Shannon.
Thank you
so much. Here at Ursamin, we believe that people, patients, providers, everyone makes better health decisions, that entire team, in that architecture. I'm throwing those words around, Shannon.
Yeah.
Everybody makes better health decisions when they have all of the information available and readily accessible to them. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
Bye.